What's up, everybody? It's the Sport Aces podcast here. I'm Chris Ortega. We have Tom Bucciferro, and we have a special guest today. We have a Houston native here, University of Houston grad. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
She
Yes,
love,
sir.
she reps all Houston sports, even though, you
Speaking of,
know,
speaking of, speaking of.
she a Texans fan. She blew out my Cowboys, but it's cool. It's cool, but we still got more rings in Texas though, so it doesn't matter, you know. So, welcome to the
Yeah, those
show,
are
Giselle.
historical rings.
Still
Classic
still got
Cowboys.
five, baby. Still got
Classic.
yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. All right.
Classic, dude.
But before we really get started, man, I gotta change hats, man. I gotta change hats. My boys got the victory. You see here. We got, the real GOAT, the real 23 here, you see it, you see the vibes, Cavs going all the way. So let me just go ahead and sit out the way right now.
We'll see
We
about that. The Cavs
yeah,
going all the way. Will
we'll
they
see
go
about that.
far in the Eastern Conference? Sure. But
Yeah,
going all the way? Bit of a stretch.
I was a fellow for them in 2023 in the summertime, so I'm a Cavs fan by association. So let's go. Let them know. Like Mitchell always tweet every day. Let them know. All right. But man, how y'all doing today, man?
I Doing great.
Can't complain.
It's
Awesome,
really cold over here
awesome.
in Houston. Not really liking it.
Oh, it's super cold in
Yeah, it's
Connecticut.
freezing.
Yeah, this one was disrespectful today
Yeah.
at work. Soon I get closer to like the production buildings,
Mhm.
the wind just pick up a little bit faster. I'd be like, sound feels like Sub-Zero just came out there, just let me give you a little bit cold.
Mm.
But speaking of which, man, we gotta start off with the news. If people not understanding the updates is happening, the Raiders just fired their GM,
Mhm.
unfortunately, which is sad because it's just like, man, they really clean house now. Like now, the Raiders fired the head coach, GM, offensive line coach, offensive coordinator, QB coach. Like they just clean house at this point.
Oh, for sure.
You know. Just want to get y'all takes, man. Like, how do y'all feel about these coaching firings, the GM firings that we've been seeing lately?
I feel like half of them are justified, and the other half, I feel like there's a lot more stuff going on behind the scenes that we're not really privy to at this current point in time.
Yeah, I mean, with the Raiders, like, you know, their GM, he was only there for a year. So I mean, like usually you give a GM like, a couple years, like maybe
Mhm.
3, 4, 5 years. I mean, I understand why like they're blowing it up, but like he had a good draft. I mean, he took Bowers, who's been a success. He's probably the best player on their team. It's just like the Raiders have just, I don't know, ever since they had a little bit like I'll say a little bit of success with Derek Carr. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't go like super far, but at least they made it to the playoffs a couple of times. But since
Hmm.
he left, they've just been a dumpster fire for lack of a better word. And they just can't compete in the AFC West anymore. So I mean I get it. I get
Yeah,
why they're cleaning house, but I don't think they should have fired the GM because he had a good draft. So I don't know. But
yeah.
what do I know?
Bowers was a great pickup, for his
I
rookie
wanted the
season.
Jets to take him because we could have taken him.
Man,
But we took O line instead, which I mean,
shoulda,
our O
coulda,
lineman was
woulda,
good, but I would have
shoulda,
rather had
coulda, woulda.
Bowers.
You
Would have rather
know,
had Bowers.
and then, of course, the 49ers fire another defensive coordinator. I'm kind of realizing the problem is really Shanahan, but I don't think they realize it yet. They keep firing these defensive coordinators
I don't think
like,
so.
I don't know, man, because
They're
like,
gonna get Sal. I think they're gonna get Salah back because they've been talking about bringing him back, and when he was there, they were
That would
dominant.
make
yeah,
sense.
yeah,
That's like one potential rumor that I'm like,
I'm
okay,
pissed off
that
that the
works
Jets
out. That'd be
fired him.
great.
yeah. Like that'd be a good pickup. And then the Titans fired the GM. Deion Sanders, reacted to the news and they got the number one pick. I mean, I don't know what the Titans gonna do. I know they're gonna go quarterback
They
first
like
pick.
Cam Ward a lot, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him
I
go.
don't, with the Titans being chosen to have the number one pick in the draft, as of right now, unless something crazy happens, I don't see them picking up Shador Sanders or Travis Hunter. I think if they did that, I think it would just be a power play, but they would just have a great talent, but not know how to execute it. So then it would just be talent wasted.
I mean, just looking at the draft order, I mean, they think Shador gonna go to Cleveland. Push
Oh, poor
comes.
guy.
I mean, yeah, poor guy, but Cleveland needs something. But whatever happens to Cleveland, that's on their own. They're on their own downfall, their own demise. I mean, for Christ's sake, they had Deshaun Watson there for way too long and they gave him way too much money. No.
That's what started this quarterback market, man, because the Deshaun Watson deal. And he
Hmm.
thought he was the guy. But I think I can see the Giants trying to make a move to trade up a spot.
That would make sense.
I can see him doing that because they really want Shador. They're gonna find a way to get Shador in New York.
I mean,
That's what
Giants already have playmakers in place, so it'd be probably
Hmm.
a good landing spot for him out of any of the top five teams. I mean, the Titans have Ridley and Pollard, but other than that,
yeah,
Yeah.
Ridley's like a shell of himself.
yeah.
I don't know.
But in the head coaching search, who do y'all think will be best fit for some of these openings at the head coaching positions?
Well, in Chicago, I think they like Ben Johnson a lot, and that would be interesting to see him with Caleb Williams. But I don't know. I feel like he's more of an offensive coordinator, so I don't know if he's a head coach per se, but you never know. I mean, he can make it work. I mean, I think both of the Lions coordinators are on the market, so we'll see if they stay or leave.
And Dan
Yeah.
Campbell said, look, if you're not hiring these guys this go around, hey, I'll take
Mhm.
them back again.
Exactly, yeah. So
Like he want these guys to get head coaching gigs. And like
Yeah.
seeing Ben Johnson, he got these interviews set up, Friday morning Patriots, in the afternoon Raiders, and Saturday morning Bears, Saturday afternoon the Jaguars. You like the Bears. What about you, Giselle? What do you think Ben Johnson be perfect at?
Honestly, I think this is a really hard market for finding a really good head coach for any of these franchises at this current state. Aside from the Bears, I don't really see him going anywhere else. I mean, potentially the Patriots, but I feel like the Patriots were such a powerhouse because of Tom Brady for so long. And with that legacy, I think Robert Kraft needs to ensure that somebody who fulfills the head coach position is able to bring some type of spark back to New England because it's been gone for years.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna say the Jaguars. I'm gonna say the Jaguars
I knew you were gonna say
because
that, to be honest. I don't know why I did, but I just knew you were
I'm
gonna.
gonna go out on a limb and say the Jaguars, and here's why.
Okay, do elaborate
I need to
on
elaborate on this because Ben Johnson possibly could revive Trevor Lawrence's career. Cause think about it now. When Jared Goff came to the Lions, the theory of Jared Goff was like he was okay.
Mhm.
He was okay quarterback. Like he took the Rams to the Super Bowl, but it wasn't really that great of a season afterwards. He come to the Lions, everything started to look up for Jared Goff. You get the right receivers around him, running backs being productive, that offense looked great. Now Jared Goff have his moments of where he turned over the ball a lot, but Jared Goff looked pretty good. And now he's a Pro Bowl quarterback. I think Ben Johnson can go to Jacksonville. The ownership need to be better because my God, like horrible organization. But I think he can help Trevor Lawrence get his career back going. The running backs, I mean, ETN, I don't know what happened from his rookie season to now. Big drop off, but Tank Bigsby's been a great help as well. You have Brian Thomas Jr. That's a good receiver you have there. I think the Jaguars could be a good fit for him. That's just me.
I can see it.
All valid points.
You know,
I have so
because like the Patriots, I get because you're coming in the Patriots over $100 million in salary cap, free salary cap. So you can sign whoever you want on both sides of the ball. So you can really build your whole team in free agency and draft. But with the Patriots, it's like the expectations to win now. Because you coming in there, I felt bad for Mayo being fired, but it's kind of like I said previous episode with Tom. When you coming in after somebody who won a lot of games and has so much success, you kind of it's like you coming in like the replacement. It's like it's so high. It's not like we used to winning, and then you just gotta get let go. So, but bad fact, who do you think the Jets gonna hire?
uh I mean, we've done interviews with Rex Ryan, obviously, who me personally, I would love to see Rex back, but the fan base doesn't, which I don't understand why. I mean, I know he's been out of coaching for like 10 years, but still, like we had the most success that we've had in years with him as the head coach. Um, Realistically, I think Vrabel's going to go to the Patriots. If I had to assign a coach to each team, I think Vrabel will go to the Patriots. Like I feel like that's pretty much a lock at this point. Like I don't know. I'd love personally, I'd love Ben Johnson, but that's not going to happen. He's already expressed that he doesn't want to go to the Jets, so that's never going to happen. Um, who else have we interviewed? Um, I know we did Vrabel. Oh, Josh McCown was another one. I wouldn't mind him. He was a quarterbacks coach with Minnesota, and he's credited with helping Sam Darnold turn around his career. So, I mean, whatever happens with our quarterback situation next year, whether or not we have Rodgers, I mean, if we draft somebody or I mean, we have Jordan Travis, the Florida State quarterback from when they went 13 and 0. He just still recovering from that ankle injury. So we haven't seen him on the field. So we're gonna see you know, how he does. I'd love to have him because he's a young guy and we haven't had a good young quarterback since I've been a fan. Like even Mark Sanchez wasn't good. So and Gino obviously was terrible with us and now he's moved on. So and I've heard Pete Carroll's interested in coming back to coaching, but I doubt he would go to the Jets. So
No, we already said
he was already the coach of the Jets in the 90s. So
yeah. Shout out to Dan Marino who kind of made him lose his job off the fake spike.
yeah.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Dan Marino for that. But I mean, in my honest opinion, I can see former players going to their former teams. I mean, you've seen the success stories, with Dan Campbell and of course the Texans,
Miko
So
Ryan, yeah,
yeah,
great coach. I loved Miko Ryan's.
yeah,
Oh,
great guy.
phenomenal. What he's done so far, we're we're good on this side. Great leadership, bar none.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna get too much about what's going on with the Cowboys. I just know they deny the Bears permission to interview Mike McCarthy. I don't know what we're doing.
McCarthy
Uh,
ain't going anywhere, bro.
he's
Nobody
I'm
really knows what the Cowboys are
Jerry
doing.
loves
Join
Mike
the
McCarthy.
club.
He loves him.
yeah, it's like a love-hate thing. Like I don't know
No,
what it is.
Jerry loves Mike McCarthy. He ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, like Jerry just want to say stuff that just said. And before we go any further, I need Micah Parsons to stay away from a microphone. I need you to
He talks a
stop
lot.
talking about going all the way. Like, let's take one step at a time, buddy. Okay? One step at a time. You pissing me off. Like, do your fucking job. Like, you're doing a great job, But tell everybody else to do their fucking job. All right. Tell Jerry to sign some people.
He was
Tell
trying to recruit Tyreek Hill. I mean,
Uh,
the
I don't know
chances
if
of
that's
that
gonna
happen,
happen.
the chances of that happening. Tom, look at me. As
no,
a
he's not
Cowboys,
going. He's
the
not going.
time is
He's
that
not
happen.
leaving Miami. He had like a meeting the other day, and apparently
Yeah.
they're all good. But people are saying like, oh, it's just they're trying to raise his trade value. I don't think he's gonna leave Miami.
No, he's not leaving Miami because he loves Miami. Because where else he gonna go?
They had one bad year, and he's complaining. It's like, bro, you had the best two back-to-back seasons of your career, over 1,700 yards with Miami. Like, you had one down year because your quarterback was in and out of the lineup. Like,
You know what it
fine next year,
is?
they'll be fine.
You know what it is? Because he seen Mahomes and the Chiefs winning
That's his
more
fault.
Super
Could have
Bowls, and
stayed.
he thought, oh, they was not gonna win nothing.
He could have stayed.
All you had
He,
to do was just accept the money they was giving him.
Yeah, he could
Like,
have stayed with the Chiefs, or if he really wanted to go to a team that was better stacked and could really go against the Chiefs, he should have went to the Bengals or the Eagles or even the Ravens. I don't see why. I mean, if he's trying to win a championship ring, I don't really understand selecting Miami for that, in my opinion.
I don't know why he went to Miami. Because the money is sunny weather. That's all it is.
I mean,
Like,
when he got traded, it was either the Jets or Miami, and we all knew he was going to Miami.
no,
Yeah,
he wasn't trying to be
that's
in the cold
social
weather.
suicide.
Yeah,
We knew exactly where he was going.
no, he wanted to be outside. He could be outside in Miami. He
I
can't
mean,
be
he's been
outside in New
outside. He's
York.
got like 8 kids. He's like, it's not a joke. He dead ass has like eight.
He's the NFL's Nick Cannon.
Yeah, he literally has
The
like
NFL, Nick. And what's funny is I actually seen him in person one time at my job.
you saw
Yeah,
Tyreek Hill, yeah.
yeah, I seen Tariq here at my job. Shit was hilarious because story time, quick story time. One day I was trying to grab some food from the caf, and the cafeteria had like a lot of trays. So I'm thinking, like, damn, who the hell got this big ass order? And then this lady walk up and checking on the food and stuff. But for some reason, you ever had like an intuition when you see somebody and you feel like you've seen them somewhere before, but
Yeah.
you don't know where? That's how I looked at this woman. For some reason, she looked real familiar. Like I seen her somewhere, but I don't know where. Then I see one of my friends eating inside the like sit down area. Said what's up to him. I look up. It's Tariq Hill. He had like 4 or 5 of his kids, no, 6 of his kids with him. Like 4 or 5 of his kids with him. Think his parents, and that was his wife. I'm like, oh, it clicked on me. Hard Knocks. That's where she looked familiar from. I was like, ha ha, see. But yeah, it was hilarious because I was just looking at it like, wow, this is funny. Of all places I could have ever seen somebody, I would have seen them here. But we're gonna go ahead and transition from the coaching ranks to the playoffs. Um, Giselle, last episode, I'm gonna be
What
honest.
you got under that sleeve over there, Chris?
Tom and I, we picked the upset, man. We're gonna go with Chargers over Texas, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right.
We're
We've
gonna
been the
go with upset.
underdog before and we've prevailed. Okay, talk your mess.
But
What do
I'm
you
gonna
got to
say
back
why.
it up? Come
No,
on.
no, no, no. I'm gonna say why. Because CJ Stroud been playing not like himself this
Yeah,
year.
sophomore slump is real.
So like it's kind of like the defense is amazing, but
Yeah.
that offense is like head
Full of teeth.
scratching. Cause it's like, can y'all defense stay in the game, keep y'all in the game against,
Mm.
Herbert and then McConkey, let me tell you, that's a pretty good receiver. Yo,
Hey,
side note, Georgia has some good guys coming to this NFL this year, man. That's crazy. He went the second round. That's crazy, man.
and Brock Bowers too.
That's crazy, man. But that was my case theory.
Okay.
Tom probably had something different on that
I
court.
just no, I agree. Like I don't think listen, I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. It'll be a close game.
No.
The
It's
Chargers,
going to be a close game. I
it'll be a
think,
close game.
It's gonna
I
be
mean,
by three. I think it's gonna
yeah.
be by a field goal.
hmm
It just depends on whether because the Chargers have been hot on offense.
The main thing that worries me about the Chargers is because of head coach Jim Harbaugh, and I'm a huge Harbaugh fan, both him and his brother. Whatever they do, I'm like, I like what they do. Whether it was Jim with the 49ers or Jim with Go Big Blue Michigan. Now he's here with the Chargers. So that's anything else, players aside, it's the head coaching that the Chargers have that worries me. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest differentials that will show fans whether or not Texans or Chargers are going to win. It's going to be the battle of head coaches, I think, more than players.
I mean, I think Ryan's kind of learned like what he did wrong against, the Ravens last year when they
Hmm.
faced them last season and seeing like the
That was a hard
talent.
game to watch.
Yeah. But I think going to this game, you is facing a mobile quarterback that could
Hmm
scramble on you at any moment. But I think for the Texans, it's all about you have to stop the run game
hmm
for sure. And then the receivers, it's like any of them receivers and tight end can go off at any moment.
Well, it depends on what Quentin Johnson are the Chargers.
Depends on which day you're gonna get him. You gonna get him dropping passes, or you gonna
Are
get
you
him?
gonna get him dropping 180 yards? Like he last week he went off.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
most weeks he's like mid. So
yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, but if
But it's
y'all,
playoff time. People come alive. It's a whole different stage. It's a whole different playing field.
I don't know,
So,
man.
survival of the fittest.
He ain't touching
Charles
my
Barkley
bad
would love
slips.
this game.
He ain't touching my bad slips. He's banned. He's been banned for a while. I
It,
ain't touching him.
Lad McConkey better be on there because he's been balling 70
Oh,
yards pretty much every game.
anytime touchdown. Oh,
Mm.
Him or
anytime.
Dobbins will probably get in just because he gets goal line carries a lot. Gus Edwards is on IR, so he's gonna be getting majority carries.
Oh,
So
indeed, indeed.
Haskins, they got Hassan Haskins who's been playing backup. So
Yeah. But I think the best game of this whole playoff in this first round is really going to be Ravens versus Steelers.
You
That
think?
I think that might be the best game only
I don't
because
know. I don't know about it being the best game.
Commanders Bucks best game.
I was gonna say it's gonna be the Commanders and Bucks.
I would say
I'm telling you,
that's the
listen, I
highest
told you this
scoring
last week.
game.
Listen, I told you
No,
this last week.
that's gonna be a huge game. That's huge.
The Ravens are gonna
They're
pound
gonna
the
win.
Steelers. They're gonna be in by like 14. I'm telling you, it's not gonna be close. I just don't.
I just keep thinking
I don't
about
see it.
week one when we seen the Commanders and Bucks. But
Yeah,
then I
but it's a
was like,
different team. It's two different
yeah,
teams.
yeah.
Yeah, it's two different teams, and you can't always go based off of that, especially with it being week one.
Would you
You
take week
can't.
one Bengals or week 17, week 18 Bengals?
Week
Different
18
teams.
Week
Bengals.
Exactly.
18.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But nah, it's just because like the Ravens Steelers rivalry is something that like it's pretty good because
Ravens have a better arsenal. I mean,
who who knows what Russell Wilson might go off, guys.
To be
We
fair
don't
though,
know.
they don't have Zay Flowers. He's out. So
that's what concerns me because that would have helped
that's
them
big.
tremendously.
They got Bateman.
When you
Bateman
have
is
someone
short
like
out
Derrick Henry, who
Andrews.
cares?
Yeah, but Flowers is dynamic. Like he's their best receiver. Bateman has his moments, but for the he'll be wide receiver one this week, so it'll be interesting to see how they run the offense with him. It's gonna be listen, they're not gonna be able to stop Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry.
Mm-mm.
I don't see it. They have TJ Watt, yeah, but Lamar's if listen, Lamar, if he didn't win MVP last year, he would have won it again this year. I don't think it would have been close.
I mean,
Yeah.
right now they matchup is 1-1 right now in this season. So this is like the game that can see if Lamar can close that book on the Steelers.
But also, yeah,
Right.
this is a huge proof. Like I said last week, Ravens Super Bowl window is closing. Like he's got to do
Yeah.
it now. Like this is it. Like this is his best chance. The Chiefs aren't the same Chiefs we've seen. Yeah, they went 15-2, but they're not the same. This
They're
is the
not
year.
the same, and they technically didn't deserve 15 and 2.
This is the year. This is the year that they make Super Bowl.
Why would you say that and then sip on your drink like that? Why would you say that? Like it's very shady.
Chiefs been playing shady. Ever since that Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl, I do not really care for them. And they already know what's up. I don't like that.
Wow. Wow.
I don't like that at all.
All right.
Stand on that.
So we got Sunday, early Sunday, Bills versus Broncos. I mean, I'm surprised Bo Nix is in the playoffs.
That'll be a better game than people expect, though, I think.
Right. I mean, the last time there was a rookie quarterback in the playoffs, it was Brock Purdy. But aside from that, I mean, that just doesn't happen. And then the Broncos haven't been in the playoffs since 2015. So it's going to be an exciting game. Like, do do we think the Broncos are going to lose? Yeah, probably, yeah. But it's still going to be a fun and exciting game to watch for sure.
That's the thing. It's also a prove year for Josh Allen because he's been here so many times and he has never made it.
Yep, it's Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. They have the same symphony. They have the same thing going on. It's a tale as old as time. It's like they're great quarterbacks, but they just can never close. And it's sad.
And it'll be a second round matchup for them too, most likely.
hmm
So
What if Bo Nix upset the Bills?
I don't see that happening because the Broncos don't have as strong as an offensive line like the Bills do, in my opinion.
Because the
So,
Broncos defense is pretty good too now.
yeah,
Broncos against the best in the league, in my opinion.
Yeah, like
their offense is mm-mm.
Pat Surtain's the best corner in the NFL, and the Bills don't really have a number one receiver. So
I don't
who's he
know.
gonna
Josh
take?
Allen's coming off
that's
a high. He just proposed to his girlfriend.
That's true. He did just give
now we
He
got
got
the
that lover boy
storyline.
in him, man. He got that lover boy in him.
The
He's like, I gotta go
lover
far.
boy in him is crazy storyline telling. All right, moving on. Uh, we got the Eagles versus the Packers.
That's
Both
gonna be great.
quarterbacks is kind of like questionable right now.
Yeah, you got Jalen Hurts following concussion protocol, but I think he'll be fine. And the Eagles have an advantage because they benched all their starters, so they're gonna come into this game all
Just give it
nice
to
and fresh.
Saquon. Just give it to
And then you
Saquon.
have the Packers, they still wanted to play their starters. Christian Watson is out with an ACL injury that could have been avoided. And then you have Jordan Love, who said in a post-game interview that his throwing hand felt numb. I don't know about you, but I would not feel very confident as a Packers fan at all going into this game. There's a lot of margins of error on the Packers' behalf that could have been avoided. And Eagles are already going into it with better odds simply because of how they play chess with Week 18 games. Just saying. And I'm gonna go Eagles because I love Jalen Hurts. He's from the Houston area, and I love Saquon Barkley. He's like the ninth player to score like 2,000, yards. So there's that. Eagles, Eagles on lock. They got it.
it's
Yeah,
Eagles.
Eagles.
Eagles
Eagles
got it.
about
We
14.
only gotta talk about it, bro. Eagles got it.
Yeah. Now the game that you two been yammering about, Buccaneers, Commanders.
Oh man, I'm so excited for that game.
Commanders, bro. Right
It's
now.
just it's just
I don't
the
know. I
it's the
don't know. That
NFC
game, I
East.
don't know.
It's just the NFC East in me is like I just don't like seeing the Commanders.
It's because you're a Cowboys fan. Stop.
Bro,
But
how can
Biases
you, okay,
aside.
okay, okay. Pause. How can you say that? Because the Commanders have been nothing for so long
Exactly.
since Robert Griffin III left. Like
and I
nobody
loved it. And I
heard
loved
about
it.
them. So now
And
that
I
they're
love
starting
it.
to like come on the totem pole, bro, put your biases
Because it
aside. Like
makes
that's cool
because it makes it
stuff.
harder for the Cowboys to make the playoffs now. Because now you got three
All
good.
right, let me give my analysis on like let me stop being biased. All right.
Yeah, yeah,
Only
yeah.
because I'm salty because we lost, but they barely beat us. Like that's why I'm kind of looking at it like even with the backups, they barely beat us. Like it's crazy. But the Commanders, Jay Daniels can really show out, but then he's gonna face the Eagles again in
Mm.
that next round.
Probably the
Which
Lions. No, he'll face the Lions.
oh
They're
they
still,
oh they would face the Lions. So like Jay Daniels win and you go against the Lions, it's like that's a high power offense right there for their defense.
their defense is not great, so it's gonna be
See,
tough.
and that's why like Baker can fuck around and like
Well,
go off.
Baker and the Bucks have been unpredictable this season.
They have.
I think their one advantage, again, Jaden Daniels, rookie quarterback, again, playing a game on the road, same as Bo Nix. Again, the probable odds are against them already just going into it just on that fact stat alone. Baker
Mhm.
got to make some plays, but Jaden Daniels is talented enough to make some stuff happen and to honestly get a victory against Tampa Bay.
It's gonna come down to the running game.
Hmm.
Bucky Irving and B Rob, they're gonna have to perform. I mean, Bucky
Hmm.
Irving's been doing fantastic
Oh
past.
yeah, I had him in my fantasy. Love him.
Yeah, he came out of nowhere and he's gonna be their starter for a while because Ricard White
Mhm.
kind of took a back seat. But I like Bucky Irving. He'll probably have the better rushing game, but I think Terry McLaurin's gonna have a good game. Watch out for Terry and Zach Ertz.
I ain't gonna lie. Terry and
Hmm.
Zach Ertz,
That
shout
hurts.
out to them, man. They've been helping me win my.
Olamide Zaccheaus too. He's been coming on lately. He's like their wide receiver too.
It's always the quiet ones that you don't never hear about.
He just he's not a bad receiver. He's just
Yeah.
small, but he's quick. He's like Zay Flowers, except not as good.
All right. And then we had the Monday night game. Before we go any further, man, prayers to the people in Los Angeles. Hope things gets better in California because I know it's been crazy with this wildfire. It's crazy.
Sad.
Yeah, it's
But they did say they might play the game in Arizona Monday night,
I did
depending
see
on
that.
how Monday night goes. But Rams, Vikings, Sam Donald first playoff appearance.
Mhm.
You know, I think the Rams might edge it out because that experience with Stafford being
Mm.
there before. But Sam Donald could shock us.
So you
It's
trust Matthew Stafford over Sam Darnold?
100% because I feel like with Stafford, I know what I'm gonna get out of Stafford. See, with Sam Donald, the record can show like, oh, they're a good team, but with Sam Donald, when it came to the big games, Sam Donald wasn't really performing at his best.
Yeah, and I think their defense has a lot to do with that as well. If I'm not mistaken, the Vikings defense gave up the fifth most passing yards in the NFL. So that's not really helping their case going into this game.
yeah.
Yeah,
They gotta stop Puka, who's been the hottest receiver in the league. So I mean,
and Cup still there.
Cup,
Cup,
yeah, but Cub's taking such a back seat, man. Like it's
He
actually
has.
it's sad to see because he was so good like 3 years ago, and now it's all Puka. That's what Stafford does. He's got one guy. That's all he throws to.
Mhm.
Throws to one guy every game. It's always Puka because Puka's a great talent like that. He's insane. And Kyron Williams is a great back too, but he gets so many carries. Like I had on my fantasy team, yeah, he rushed for like 1,200 yards, but he was getting like 20, 25 carries a game. So
yeah, that's a lot of
and
carries,
Blake
man.
Corum's out too because he broke his forearm. So
Oh
be
God,
interesting to
I
see what
forgot
they do
about
there.
that. Oh yeah, I really liked him. Again, played under Jim Harbaugh over at Michigan. Small guy, very agile, very fast.
I want to ask y'all this question before we like go to like deep dive into the Chiefs and the Lions.
Hmm.
Do y'all think the Bengals or do y'all think Joe Burrow is overrated?
No.
Where the hell did you get that from?
I want to ask y'all this question because
Where did you get
I
that
have a
from?
fellow I have a fellow coworker that believes Joe Burrow is overrated.
No. No.
Overrated.
No. No.
Jeez.
Joe Burrow is arguably
The
better
stats
than
speak for
Lamar
the
Jackson.
stats speak for themselves, man.
Yeah.
4,900 yards,
Honestly,
43 touchdowns. Like,
Mind you, he's a Chiefs fan.
oh yeah,
that was my fantasy
he's just
quarterback.
mad because because Burrow beat Mahomes a couple
Hmm.
times.
And honestly, the Bengals could have beat Mahomes and the Chiefs again, but it was a very sad and unfortunate case for those first few couple games this season because I believe I'd have to go back and look, but I know like between like week 1 and week 2 that he played, the Bengals played the Chiefs and the Ravens, and the Bengals lost both those games by 3 points or less. Um, Very unfortunate to see.
I would have loved to see Jamar go against the Ravens again. Oh my
Oh
God, he
yeah.
looked them this year. Three touchdowns one game, two touchdowns the other game, like
My
over
God.
I
400 yards.
really wanted to see that too, because I felt like
Cooked them
it
again.
was so close. And that was the game when Mahomes was like, make sure you wear darker colored cleats. I think it was like black cleats or something. It was black or white. Oh, it was white cleats because the guy wore black cleats and it that just like threw off the whole game.
This is wild, man. But like, do y'all think the Chiefs have a chance to get back to the Super Bowl?
Well, yeah, I'm even though I'm on the outs with the Chiefs, I'm never it would be silly of me to say that they don't have a high possibility of going to the Super Bowl. I think anybody who says that, you got a little bit too much hater in your system. You know what I mean? You got to get the emotions aside and just look at everything that's presented because at the end of the day, whether you like Mahomes or not, he is a clutch quarterback and he makes things happen. So he's very much used to handling high pressure environments. So I would never root against that. Sorry, never.
I 100% agree. I mean, they're the best third down team in the NFL. I mean, there's a reason why they're as much as like even I've said like they shouldn't don't deserve to be 15-2. I mean,
Hmm.
they've had a few games where yeah, they should have lost, like the Denver game, for example. The first Denver game should have
Yep.
definitely lost.
Yep.
But it doesn't really matter because they just get it done. They
Hmm.
find a way. Always. Doesn't matter who they're playing.
Hmm. And
Thing
then they
was,
got Xavier Worthy, like I mean,
Marquise
they added
Brown,
that
right?
to their arsenal. I mean, you have Travis Kelce and him and Mahomes have like really good chemistry. And then they added D Hop. And it's like, why they need D Hop? I don't know, but they got him anyways. And it's just, they're honestly always making money moves so that they're never struggling. They ensure that their quarterback has multiple routes of talent to throw the ball and ensure that that ball is going to go down the field.
Yeah,
I
D-Hop,
think,
D-Hop's just ring chasing. He just wants the ring, but I respect it.
Me too. Me too. I mean, he was with the Texans for so long. Bill O'Brien screwed him over. I'm never going to forgive Bill O'Brien for how he handled that situation. So, does it hurt to see D Hop play for the Chiefs? Yeah. But do I want D Hop to find success and hopefully get a ring with the Chiefs? Of course.
'cause y'all might be facing the Chiefs in the next round.
Mm,
So
I know that's the thing, man. We always like get like nipped in the bud because we see the Chiefs so early into playoffs. I'm like, oh God. I think the only God, I think the only way for the Texans to really have beat the Chiefs, we 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 just were riddled with injuries. I mean, we have Stephon Diggs out, we have Tank Dell out. Nico Collins was out for a while, but Nico Collins is back. Love Joe Mixon. I like love him. Blessing from the Bengals to gift us Joe Mixon here in Houston. But I just think we were just so riddled with injuries that it's just not going to happen. Again, CJ Stroud riddled with sophomore slump. It's even though our defense is kicking ass and taking names, that's just not enough going against Mahomes and the Chiefs.
nah, I would say this just to wrap it up. Mahomes just find a way to win. I think that's what
Always.
what separates him, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. I think in those critical moments, you just gotta find a way to win. He finds a way to win,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Every time.
And you have a great coach in Andy Reid.
Mm-hmm.
So like that coaching plays a huge part in that team.
Separates the boys from the men.
Indeed. And then the Lions, it's the injuries all around, but potentially you're gonna have David Montgomery back. So now your offense could be potentially be a threat going to the playoffs, whoever they face. Defensively, I I know that like they just lost Arnold with injury. And they had Hutchinson. If he wasn't out for the season, my God, this Lions team would be my favorite to win it all. But I
We've
think the
seen some
Lions,
terrible injuries this season in the NFL. I think Hutchison and Tank Dells were top to the worst to come out
Yeah.
this year.
So hopefully, man, we see the Lions. I mean, it'd be great to see a Chiefs versus Lions
Mm.
Super Bowl, or could see the Baltimore versus Lions Super Bowl. But that's just me, you know. What's y'all Super Bowl? Who y'all think is gonna be the Super Bowl matchups?
I think it's a little bit early to tell for me as of right now. I think after this playoff bit, I'd be able to give you a complete and total answer.
I mean, who I want to see, obviously, I said it last episode, I think the Lions are going to win, but I'd love to see Lions and Ravens or Bills. Ravens, I just want Ravens or Bills to come out of the AFC. I don't want to see the Chiefs again just because it gets repetitive, but
Yeah.
realistically, like the Chiefs, it just like I said last episode again, it runs through Kansas City every single year, and it's hard to win there. Very hard to win
Yeah,
there.
it's hard to win there.
So,
Fair point. It's insane. The weather conditions for
yeah.
sure.
So the Chiefs would only have one road game and it would be the Super Bowl, which is a neutral. It just
Hmm.
happens every year. Like they always find a way, and like I just nobody's been able to dethrone them besides the Bengals, and they're not here. So
Yep. Speaking of, what did you think about Travis Kelce saying, we're not scared of the Bengals and we didn't, win week 18 game just so we could avoid seeing them?
well, I
Yeah,
mean, it
you
doesn't
go
matter.
ahead, Tom.
Like he can say whatever he wants. Like I mean, yeah, he's a competitor. I respect. He gave a competitor's answer, but the reality is they don't want to see the Bengals. Nobody wants to see the Bengals. They were the hottest team in
I
the league.
know.
They were the
Like,
best team in the league past the last month. So
I
for
would
sure.
say I love the confidence because when you win a lot of Super Bowls, you're gonna feel like that. Yeah, you feel like you
Hmm.
want to play against anybody.
Hmm.
But in all being realistic, the fucking Bengals is on the fucking strive. They on the path where like the Bengals could have fucked around, could have upset a lot of teams in the
Oh, yeah.
playoffs.
I mean, Jamar Chase finished with the
You
triple crown
know,
this season.
like this wasn't like a Bengals team that was like, oh, they wasn't good. No, the Bengals was going to come out and beat somebody ass, and then imagine they would have made the playoffs. They would have to face the Bills. Now we would have had that question like
it
Yep.
would have been it would have
Burrow
been
versus
Bengals
Allen.
Bills, and then Bills Chiefs. Or no,
Hmm.
Bills Chiefs. That's how it would have went because Bengals would have been the seven.
Yeah, and that would have been like
Two
a
gauntlet teams
huge
that the
what
Bengals
if,
facing,
like,
and
Yeah.
probably Ravens.
yeah.
So
Oh, speaking of which, Adam Schefter did just tweet out that the 49ers did complete their interview with Robert Saleh.
Oh, look at us.
he'll probably be
Uh,
back there. Honestly, I like I said, I think he'll be back there.
he just
Mhm.
gotta go back, man. And Tom, this is my take about your team before we go into college football. Some of it is on Saleh part, but I'm gonna blame it on Rodgers, man, and Woody. Woody and Rodgers is the two main culprits of everything that happened to y'all team this season and last season.
I listen. I'm just gonna blame it all on Woody Johnson. I don't think Rodgers has anything to do with it. Rodgers, yeah, he forced the Devontae Adams trade, but like other than that, the reason why he doesn't want to come back is because of his relationship with Woody Johnson. So yeah, I think Rodgers definitely played a little bit of a part in getting Salah fired. But
Mhm.
other than that, like he just didn't. The second half of the year, he performed a lot better, but it just wasn't enough. It was too late. Like we needed that all year. And yeah, he got hurt in Minnesota, and that kind of derailed the season. And blah blah blah. But the defense just wasn't the same without Salah, plain and simple. Because Ulbrich couldn't focus mm, all of his time into the defense because he was the interim head coach. When we had Ulbrich just focusing on defense, we were one of the best in the league like the last couple of years. We also lost a lot of guys. Mosley's probably done. He's probably out of here. Uh, Jermaine Johnson, who was a promising third-year guy, tore his ACL, and who knows how he's going to be next year. Will McDonald, I know you remember, Chris, when we went to watch the draft, and me and Ant were hating on Will McDonald when we drafted him.
Okay.
He shut us up, but he had a great year. He had a fantastic season. I'm excited to see what he does. And Fashanu, the other draft pick we got, he had a good end to the year. So I'm excited about the young guys we have. We just need to get the right coaching.
Worry about Garrett Wilson still being there, but
Yeah, I'm worried about that too. I really hope he
He's
doesn't
gonna
leave.
leave.
the
Yeah,
Like him
Patriots,
to the Texans.
the Patriots is going to
I
throw
just
that back.
if Sauce says he wants to stay, but I just I hope he can convince Garrett to stay because we really need Garrett Wilson bad because the rest of our receivers are just completely trash. So I don't know. Scary. It's definitely because he's been the best receiver we've had in years, and
Yeah.
it's not close. So and Brees
I
Hall,
don't know. I think he can come to the Texans. I mean, both CJ Stroud and Garrett Wilson went to the Ohio
but
State
but, but the
University.
Texans don't need him. They
Travel.
don't need him. They have
Texas don't need nobody.
they got
Y'all
Bro,
good.
Tank
Y'all
Dell was
Brady.
could
out. Tank Dell was out.
y'all
If,
could
if
Will
they,
be
just
back
no, if
draft
though.
they knew
draft
what the Chiefs
somebody.
would do, they would get him.
Draft somebody. Okay. Y'all should go draft
We could
somebody.
draft. Hey, listen, we could draft Tedoroa McMillan. I'd be happy with that. I'd be happy with drafting Tedoroa McMillan.
No, we got to
Oh,
focus our draft on like fixing our O line here in Houston.
all I hear is Ashton Genty in a Cowboys uniform. That's all I'm wishing. Okay. I'm living in that reality. I'm delusional.
You
Yes.
really think Jerry's
I'm
gonna waste a first
Blue?
delusional.
round pick
Okay.
on Ashton Genty?
Yes.
No, you
Yes. We're delusional. Yes. We're gonna get Genty and we're gonna be
I
back.
think that would be cool, but that wouldn't be our saving grace to make it far into the playoffs.
Let me live in my delusion, okay? Let me live
Yeah.
in my delusion a little bit,
I love.
okay?
Hey, listen, I'm a big Ashton Genty guy. I love what he
Mhm.
did this year, but no, he's not going to Cowboys.
Man,
I
speaking
could see it. I think it's there.
You
I
know
think
where I think he would fit super well is the Steelers. I'd like him on the Steelers.
I could Loki also see that too, but I don't know.
I
The
love
Cowboys,
Genty on the Steelers.
they know how to swoop in. They got all the nice shiny gadgets, the nice beautiful big
Najee
stadium.
Harris, Najee Harris would be out of there so fast. Put
I mean, they
Genty.
don't got Ezekiel Elliott anymore. He went to the Chargers. The Chargers got someone else to help them against the game against the Texans. Smart
he
moves on their
washed.
behalf.
He washed anyway.
He is washed. I don't know why the Cowboys
I
chose
mean,
him that much.
realistically, you guys
Jerry
should draft.
fault again.
I think you should draft Ashton Genty. It'd be smart. You really should,
It's
but
the
I don't
master
think you
plan,
will.
baby. The master plan, baby.
I just don't see it. I don't see it, dude.
Don't
Sorry.
worry, don't worry. I'll be in the draft room with Jerry. Don't worry about it. We'll make some good moves. Don't worry about it.
All
But
right.
tonight, we got Penn State versus Notre Dame. I know this episode probably gonna be up tomorrow afternoon, but Thursday night, tonight we have Penn State versus Notre Dame. I'm gonna be honest, this might be a good game. I think this
Might.
matchups, I think these semifinal games might be pretty good games.
Oh yeah, these semifinal games are going to be huge. Are you kidding me?
Cause like this is why I kind of at first I wasn't liking this 12 team playoff format. Cause the
Hmm.
first round was like
A lot.
it was like FSU, like Tennessee, like damn. Clemson could have made it competitive, but then they just fizzled out.
Yeah, they filled it out for
Notre
sure.
Dame, it was like it was too much for Indiana. Even though Indiana was trying to fight back. But then the next round, I was surprised by Arizona State.
Yeah. I mean,
That game was
they
surprising.
took UT to overtime. That was a game.
That was
That's what makes me love college football. Games
That's
like that.
been that game's been I've seen a lot of people like doing like top 10 college football playoffs games, and that's been on there. Like
Hmm.
it's been like top seven. Like that game is that's the second half of that game was fourth quarter of that game and overtime were good. The first three quarters were complete snooze, but the rest of the game was great.
because I think
I,
I think people forget like the year ago, Arizona State was just at the bottom of the
Three and
Pac-12
nine.
with
They were three and
Colorado.
nine.
It was just like Colorado. It was the worst in the Pac-12. You come into a new conference this year in the Big 12. They had y'all schedule as dead last, dead last. And then you go on to win your conference, which is like, wow, the huge turnaround.
Got to
They
credit to
running
him.
back, they running back. If we don't get Genty, I would love to get him as our running back in the backfield.
I mean,
Well,
yeah, Scatabo isn't a highly regarded prospect for some reason. He's like a third or fourth round talent, but
but he's gonna be a good steal for whoever drafted
oh
in
yeah,
the
whoever
third,
gets him,
fourth.
they're gonna get a good
He's
player.
gonna be a good steal.
Hmm.
Jeremiah Smith, for him to be a freshman, he's him. He's him. The fact that you called out Oregon DBs and said don't play man, and then you have the performance like that, it's like he might be probably potentially be the best receiver.
Who on Texas is gonna be able to stop him? I don't see anybody.
Apparently, they have the Jim Thorpe winner that should have been Travis Hunter, but they gave it
They
to some
do,
guy
they do,
in
yeah, but
Texas. So
they he's not gonna stop. He's not gonna stop Jeremiah Smith. That guy's different.
Penn State beating Boise State. I mean, we love to see people who now kind of like said, "Oh, this is who y'all want as your Heisman." It was so many tweets that were like, "Oh, this is your king. This is who y'all was hyping
Yeah,
up."
but like if you watch the film, like he had to fight for those
Yeah,
yards.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I think he still
Mhm.
had 100 yards. It was a hard fought 100 yards, but yeah. And then
Plus,
no,
like I was saying, like when you're in the NFL, you're not gonna be going against 8-man, 9-man boxes every
oh
play.
no.
You can't do that in the NFL. So Gentsy's gonna have a successful career because teams are gonna sell out to stop him, and then the passing game's just gonna go crazy wherever he goes. So
And then Notre Dame beating Georgia. Speaking of Georgia,
Oh man, that was huge. That was the game.
Carson Beck is in the transfer portal, by the way. I'm surprised he
I
didn't declare for the draft. Like, bro, go to the draft, bro. Stop. It's nothing grinds my gears than these quarterbacks or these guys who's draft eligible and they
hmm
want to spend another year. Like, bro, just go to the draft, bro.
what do you think about Drew Aller then? Because he's draft eligible, but he wants to stay.
Mm.
A lot of NFL teams are saying that if he performs well in the postseason, that he might declare.
I think it depends how he plays tonight because
For
it
sure.
depends how far Penn State goes. Because I think he's saying he's staying only because he's probably thinking like what if?
I want Notre Dame to win against Penn State. Just saying.
I think
Riley
this
Leonard, I don't know if he has it in him though.
storybook wise,
Notre
Mm.
Dame would be better, yeah.
Notre Dame winning the national title would be amazing.
I don't
Storybook
know if they're going to
wise,
win the national title, but I just want them to go to the championship for
I don't
sure.
think anybody's gonna touch Ohio State. I'm sorry, they're just too good. Like
I
they,
think I think Ohio State has more to prove
they do.
because like the biggest thing that's always been questioned about Ryan Day is can you win the big games? Because like you always been in
Mhm.
the college football playoffs and you always had a great team, but you never
I mean,
win it.
this is he's got two great running backs, two great receivers, a good quarterback. Like this is the year for them. So
I think if he wins the national title, do y'all think him losing to Michigan 4 times still matters?
yeah, it does. Because
Yeah,
that's the rivalry game. You
that's a
gotta win
stain
those.
on his record, man. That shit's not going away.
'Cause that's
Maybe it was
crazy.
one or two
It doesn't
times, but
matter
four
if
times?
it doesn't matter if you win the national title. You still lost to Michigan 4 times. Like
Yeah,
it's not acceptable for diehard OSU fans. Like that's unacceptable. Like you don't want your
exactly.
coach losing to your rival.
Yeah, because I'm just like wondering, like, man, like when you think about everything that's happening, like he can win the natty, but like,
I mean, I'm sure
how
that
people
would
feel
definitely
about him?
help. That would definitely
It
help
would
how
help
people feel
him.
about
Yeah.
him.
He
But
needs one. He needs a
when you
national.
go against like especially this year with how weak Michigan was and you still couldn't beat them, like this is not the same Michigan that just won the national title. Like this is a Michigan team who
Exactly.
clearly had a regression this year
Yeah,
because
they
they
had a
just
new head coach, new quarterback. Most of their like running mates, they all went into the draft. They're all in the big leagues now.
and
They
yeah,
were
that was
expected
expected
for
though. Like
OSU to lose
we
against
knew
them.
Michigan wasn't going to be Michigan
Mm-mm.
after Harbaugh leaving and you lost McCarthy and everybody else. So I mean, like, but still, you can't lose that game if you're OSU, and you can't lose that game.
Indeed, indeed.
100%.
Just to let y'all know, crossing back the three teams that's the top teams to watch for crossing back is Texas Tech, University of Miami, and the Ohio State University.
I hope he doesn't go to Texas Tech because mm,
I
mm-mm,
want I want to thank Texas Tech. If
mm-mm.
it's any school I think he would go,
Miami.
he
I
would
feel like it'd be
know.
Miami. Doesn't, if I'm not mistaken, isn't the girl that he's dating plays basketball at University of Miami? So I think that's a possible landing spot for
And
them.
they're
I
losing
just
Cam
hope
Ward.
not Texas Tech because my U of H Cougars are in the Big 12 and we have a huge rivalry against Texas Tech.
I
So,
can see Ohio State only because he would go there
I don't
for
think they
that
want
season.
him. I wouldn't want him.
right.
But I
No,
mean, I don't think Ohio State need him because Ohio State already got a stable of quarterbacks
Yeah.
exactly.
behind Will Howard that's like ready to go. So I mean, I don't think Ohio State should budge into. I think Miami will be the possible destination there.
Right.
Um, but from college football, and I really want to get y'all thoughts on this. With the NBA,
Hmm.
why do y'all think the NBA is not interesting to watch right now?
I mean, it's because the stars that we've all known and loved for the past 5, 10 years they're getting older. But
That's
but
what they all say. I
we
don't
do have
think
a
that's
new
the main
face of the
culprit
league.
for it, though.
We do have a new face of the league. Wembenyama is gonna be the face of the league once Braun's gone. So I mean, hey, listen, did you see the game the other night? Jazz and Hawks. Sexton makes the buzzer beater, or so we thought, and then Trey
That
Young half court.
ice
Trae Young
tray.
has came alive. I think he's really redeemed himself this season because he
20
was kind of
assists too.
falling
Like
off.
he might like he's been averaging like what I think he's around like 12 or 13 assists a game this year. Like he's been
He's been making
crazy.
headlines for sure. So anybody in Atlanta, any Hawks fan should be ecstatic.
Also the problem right now, Chris, with the NBA ratings is that football is so interesting this year and
100%.
still going on. I think once football is over, I think you'll see that go
That's
back up.
usually what happens anyway. So I think everyone's stressing out about viewership being really low right now for the NBA. I don't think that's the biggest cause of concern at this point in time. It's whenever NFL season ends, if the viewership is still low, I think that's when you start to raise
Yeah.
eyebrows and ask questions like, what are we doing wrong? What can we do to fix this?
And also on Christmas, the NBA had more viewers than the NFL did. Granted,
Correct.
the games weren't great, but still, the NBA still owns Christmas. Like that's their
Hmm.
thing. So,
Hmm.
So this is why I think the NBA, and besides like the NFL, the real reason why I think the NBA product hasn't been something like people really tune into, even on days when it's not NFL and people don't tune into, because when I think about the NBA, we relying so much on the stars that's like that's out the door. Like I shouldn't rely on the face of my league being only LeBron James to still hold the reign. I feel like the NBA should promote more of the younger stars more than anything. I think they need to continue to promote the younger stars. I think the younger stars, I think I can see why we won't be interested in the Jason Tatum because there's nothing like that stick out to us about Jason Tatum. You don't have like no controversy behind him. You don't got nothing about him that's like that made me want to be like, man, this is my face. Because John Morant could have been the face, but then the whole gun situations and
Right.
everything happened, and the Ant could have been potentially
You wanted
the
to take the wrong
face.
type of shots, Chris.
But moving on.
I mean, for real, I'm like, Well, you need to go sit down. Stop it.
Look, man,
Oh,
everybody can't be Larry Hoover, all right? Everybody can't be a gangster.
right.
Everybody can't be the Godfather. So, maybe he wanted to be in the military. We don't know. But that's in the past. I felt like everybody wanted Ant to be the face, but I feel like Ant is not ready for that position yet.
No, not yet, but he's definitely on the come up. I think a lot of people are excited about Anthony Edwards for many reasons. I mean, he's talented. He has the confidence and the cockiness to go hand in hand, where you're like, I like him, but I can also dislike him at times. He was also a part of one of the Netflix documentaries very recently. So more people were able to have more of like a sense of who Ant Edwards is. Where did you come from? Who are you? Let us know, like, into your realm. And so I think a lot of people liked him for that reason. And because also, I mean, the Timberwolves weren't anything for so long. So he helped revive a franchise that was dying for so, so long. So I think that was also really cool to see. I just think the biggest culprit for viewership being down is because the NBA has so many games throughout the regular season that most people don't feel a huge need or desire to watch every single game because there are so many. I think they'd rather wait until it's closer to crunch time or for particular handpicked games like, the Lakers going against the Rockets. The Rockets beat the Lakers to hold on to the number 2 seed in the Western Conference. That was exciting to see. People wanted to watch that. I mean, the Rockets have a young roster. This has been an up and coming thing. I've said 5 years ago, I go, you have to be patient with this Rockets team. The success will show, but it's going to take some time to get there. And so we're finally here. So it's really cool to see. But I think the biggest culprit is that there are so many NBA regular season games that most people don't have the desire to watch them unless it's going to be a great head-to-head matchup.
And another reason why I think probably plays a part a little bit too, the
Hmm.
smaller market teams are like the better teams currently. Because like the big market, like the Lakers, like it's kind of like right now, it's like they the sixth seed, but
Right.
when you look at every other team above them, like OKC, very young team.
Love
Houston,
OKC.
young team. Memphis, back into that fold again now
Mhm.
with Ja being back, Jaren Jackson. Denver is they iffy on some days, depending
Yeah, but
on
you
who they
can't
are.
count them out with Jokic.
Oh no, never count them out. You got Dallas, the Clippers in the play-in spot. The Timberwolves, Golden State,
Hmm.
and like I'm gonna be honest, I really love the Spurs potentially might go to the playoffs. I would love to see the Spurs in the playoffs.
Like I said,
I
bro.
think that'd be good to see. Growing up, I loved the Spurs because I was a huge like Ginobili and Tony Parker and Tim Duncan fan and Greg Popovich. I mean, are you kidding me? That's like legendary. I don't think I would trust anyone who didn't like or appreciate that Spurs team for what it was for so long. So I think it'd be cool to see the Spurs kind of come back to it. And like Tom said, Wembanyama is going to be a face of the NBA very soon. He's still young, but I think if you were to pull up his stats at this current point, he has like these crazy records already set, and he's 21 years old.
His stats currently,
I
as
mean,
of
I
right now,
listen. I've
25,
been.
25 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 blocks, and a steal.
And
And
it's fun to
sh
watch him because he's a freak of nature. Like nobody is that tall and long and lanky.
and
And you see the
shooting
way he moves up and down the
35%,
court.
shooting 35% behind the arc too,
It's
I mean,
which
crazy.
his
he has the
height
most. He has more points than LeBron through 100 games, more blocks than Dikembe, more rebounds than Kevin Garnett and Charles Barkley. Like
Mhm.
he's an alien. He's a unicorn.
Yep, he sure is. I
And
mean, he was
If
literally
the
an alien.
Spurs, if the Spurs move up in the standings, I feel like more people will watch because right now, like yeah, like you said, they're in the play-in, but like they're not there yet. They don't have a good enough team to where it's like, oh, this is actually a team that can make some noise in the playoffs. The Thunder, on the other hand, They don't even have their best. They don't even have their second best player in there.
Yeah, Chet's been out for a fat minute.
That's crazy.
When Chet was playing, like this was the year. This was his year to break out. He was
And
the first.
they were looking great on
Yeah,
defense
but
Oh
too.
my
yeah,
God, yeah.
but when he was in, he was putting up some insane numbers, and then he unfortunately, because that's the problem with those 7 foot guys, they just don't. They just have so many injuries. Wemby's been fortunate not to have anything serious yet, but Chet has had 2 major injuries now, which is a problem, which
Hmm.
sucks because he's such a good player. He's such a fun player to watch, but he's like Zion. Zion's on the other end of the spectrum. He's 6'6", but he's just a little too big for his frame. But he came back the other night. He
He,
came back the other
he
night.
needed a change of scenery. I think Zion needed a change of scenery. Like I
And what do
think,
you
The
think
windmill
has
dunk though, listen, that windmill dunk he hit the other night was
oh
crazy.
no, that was sick though. I ain't
First
gonna
came
lie.
back
That
and he does that. I was
that was
like,
a sick dunk. Um, man, it's tough because it's like with Zion, it's like he gotta lead the Pelicans, but I don't know what other location he could go to really play like a huge factor.
well,
Um,
the Pelicans just have an issue where it's like they have a good pieces. Like they got Murray, who was an all-star like 2 years ago. I don't know, and then he's been playing well. McCollum just had 50 the other night. And then they got Brandon Like they have a good squad. I don't know. They just don't mesh. It's like the
mm-mm.
2012 Lakers. They don't mesh. Zion, it doesn't help that Zion's always hurt. He's never playing.
Yeah, exactly.
When he does play, he puts up numbers. So it's like, it's a problem. Because the couple of healthy years that Zion had, he was, I mean, 27 a game, all-star. Like, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough for the Pelicans. They're not in a good spot right now. But if they get the number 1 pick, they got some good choices coming out of college this year. So Cooper Flag, Ace Bailey. So
Hmm.
Man, that Cooper Flag poster, it's crazy.
dude, he's from I went to college up in Maine for 4 years, and he's from up there. I saw him play in high school. He was a freak. He was it was hard to get into his games. Like even when he was like a sophomore.
Oh, that's epic right there. Like you
Yeah,
just said
that's
it was
wild.
all the games.
I mean, he's now he the only thing that upset me is because I'm a UConn guy and he chose Duke instead, which is a punch in the face because like UConn just won back-to-back chips. Like, come to the team, bro. Like you have your best.
I mean, I think Duke probably fit him more
Oh no,
now.
obviously Duke. Obviously, if I was him, I would have went to Duke as well. It's a
Yeah,
way more prestigious program than UConn is, but
yeah. Like it would have been great if he went to UConn, because then I would have been like, Tom, we should go to a game, bro. Like would have been
I
like,
mean,
hey man,
hey, listen, UConn hasn't been themselves. They lost 4 games already this year. They're not looking great.
That's good for
yeah,
me.
yeah. She's
Yeah,
Houston Cougars.
They're a pretty good basketball school.
The
So
Cougars.
I know. I'm like, yeah, keep losing, UConn.
Nah, don't worry
UConn
because
also makes some noise in the tournament. Don't worry.
Oh
It'll
yeah, no, I again, you don't count out those blue bloods. You just don't do it.
you know why I can't wait to when next college football come around. Because I'm gonna be trolling Giselle about the Colorado Buffaloes like this. Yeah, baby. I'm only because I'm a Prime fan. We got the same birthday, so that's the only reason why.
I love Deion Sanders. Love
Yep,
him.
that's my birthday twin, man. Shout out to Coach Prime, man. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, Tom. I wish I could have worked at Colorado. 'Cause I would have been lit. But like this, yeah.
this year, absolutely.
I've been like this, like, yeah, we hitting the Shador. Boom, been lit.
If only they could win more games.
Let me
Oh
get my
my
let me
God,
get
they were
my
so
fake
close to.
let me get my fake fake Rolex. Hold on. Let me get my fake Rolex on right quick. Hold on. We got oh yeah, you know. Yeah, we lit out here, baby. Yeah.
I don't know how Colorado's gonna do next year without Shador and Travis and Shiloh though. It's gonna be interesting. They got a couple 5-star QBs, so it'll be interesting to see what they do.
I
Yeah.
think I think looking into college football going forward, I think this is gonna be an interesting season next year to see how the transfer portal plays out. For Colorado, I think they have potential to be a pretty good team. I seen their schedule for next season. I think they could be a potential like 75, 84 season, because I think teams that I think they're still going to be pretty good just based off it. Like you're going to lose I think BYU still going to be strong.
Hmm.
Arizona State probably still going to find a way to still be
Yeah,
strong.
Levitt's only a freshman, so he's there for a couple more
Yeah,
years.
so like you got teams that's like still, and then they play Georgia Tech the first game, so it's like
Yeah, I mean,
kind of
Georgia Tech was an interesting. They were so interesting this year because they beat Florida State, obviously, who fell off a cliff. And
it's just
DJ just man, he just
yeah, just go to the draft, bro. You should
would
have went to
no,
the
he didn't
draft.
even go to the no one's gonna take him. He did nothing this year. He was horrible.
That need to be studied. His journey need to be studied.
But he
Cause
would
you
like was he really even like good at any point? Like actually
so I got familiar with DJ ukulele. Wait, that's how you say his last name?
I think it's
You
Uyagalo because
yeah.
he's
I was
Hawaiian.
familiar with DJ from watching the series
Mm.
QB1 Beyond the Lights, which they had the guy that was St. John Bosco quarterback, Real Mitchell. He was the backup. He was a freshman. Real was a senior. Real lost his job to DJ because DJ came in the game. DJ was more better than Real. Real was like your dual threat quarterback, but Real lost his job. So I got familiar with him throughout the years. Then you see him like flashes, winning state titles, playing against Bryce Young. If the potential was there at Clemson, but what happened was just like any typical star player, another guy come in, he's pretty better. Cade was a lot better.
Yeah, Klubnik's gonna be
Yeah,
good and pro player. He's gonna be
Cade
good.
was better. And that's how he lost his job. He lost his job to a freshman that was a little bit better than he was. So then he went to Oregon State, which I felt like he should have stayed at Oregon State because then he could have been flourishing there, could have made it to a bowl game, another bowl game over there, and then could have seen some success going to this draft class, but kind of put yourself in the bad predicament now. Now you shit the bed at Florida State. Now nobody ain't gonna want you. So hopefully things get better, but I'm excited to see this matchup with Penn State Notre Dame. Excited to see this NFL playoffs this weekend. Just before we end the call, I know or end the podcast episode, I do have a couple questions that people sent us to get our take on this with sports. I have two questions for my guy Denzel. Shout out to my guy, Virginia State. Woo woo, let's go Trojans. It's two questions. His first question: does LeBron have another 2 years in him?
Yeah, he does.
I would say for sure 1 year. The second year is a maybe.
I
Will he play
was,
2 years? No, but I think he has 2 years left.
I think he has one more solid season. The
Mm.
second season is going to be more of like mentoring whoever a top whoever he that young
Hmm.
that's a potential to be a star, that's gonna be the mentoring year. But he's still gonna give you some good buckets.
Oh yeah, he's gonna
But
go win, but his role is gonna.
be like, I'm not relying too much on him.
Hmm.
Like he can be like a guy like I don't need to expect like a 30 a game or 25 a game.
I don't know, man. I just saw him do that crazy dunk, and he's 40 years old.
That dunk was nasty, man.
Yeah.
Like switching hands midair at 40 years old. Like nobody's doing that. Like I'm sorry,
Can
but
I get a
he,
poster of that?
yeah, seriously,
I ain't
A
gonna
like
GIF?
lie.
he could probably play at a high level for probably 2 or 3 more years. It's crazy to say that about a 40-year-old, but the way that he's just he's still putting up what? I think he's around 24, 25 a game this year. So
I
it's like,
love it.
I'm just afraid because father time do come up out of nowhere.
yeah, but
That's my
if
only
there's
fear.
somebody, if there's one person, it's him. Like he would be the long him and Brady are like the two guys that have been able to
Exactly. I
hold
was
him
just
off the
about to say
longest.
that. Hmm.
So it's like I don't
Yeah.
know, man.
And then the second question he asked for us, who will dethrone the Dodgers?
The Dodgers.
God. That's a tough one. That's a great question because I think anybody who follows the MLB, we're all thinking the same thing. You have Otani over there in LA, and it's just like, God damn. I'm a huge Astros fan, and right now we're scrambling a bit. I mean, our pitching staff has been not 100% for the last few seasons, but yet we've been able to go so far.
Make
But
sure
I don't
y'all, yeah,
know.
make sure you ain't stealing no signs or
We
stealing.
don't do that.
Nah, man.
I mean, I'd love to say the Yankees. I'm not even a Yankees fan,
No,
but not
no,
anymore. They
no.
once they got rid of Soto, like
Yeah, I was like, no, that's not.
can't believe
That
I
was
can't
the
believe they let
Yankees'
him walk.
chance to go far. They
I
didn't
can't believe
have
they
to
let
face
Soto
their
walk.
daddy Astros
Mhm.
team, and they
Yeah.
still choked. Hell no. Yankees are
I
trash. Sorry. Sorry.
I think the Mets might made that move to be in a position to
They're
compete
in
now.
position for sure.
I
They
think
in
the
position.
Braves too. The Braves are a solid team.
The
They just had a
Braves are a
down
solid
year.
team.
Acuna will be back with a vengeance.
Yeah,
It'll
I
be
really like it.
that's a bad man right there.
the Dodgers. The Dodgers is like they've set themselves up to win like two or three more World Series with their roster. So it's
And the way Otani did his contract, it's like,
Otani is the best player I've seen in baseball in
and
such a
he's gonna pitch this upcoming year too.
That's a unicorn right there.
So it's like
50 the first ever 50-50 season.
that's gonna be
Like
crazy.
he was only hitting, which is crazy. Like that's what happens when you put a guy he's a dual, and then you're like, oh, you're only gonna hit this year. Drops possibly the one of the best seasons we've ever seen. So
And we love Otani. He has a weenie dog too. So he has the cute factor.
Otani is great.
How can you not love him? Like you just have to love him.
I'm just sad that he left the Angels because him and Mike. I love Mike Trout. I think Mike Trout's one of my.
He
He
needed to
had to
leave
do
the
what was
Angels.
best for them,
He
for him.
had to do best
Those were
No,
for
I
him,
not
agree. I
man.
agree.
men.
I'm not saying that he shouldn't have done what he did, but I'm just sad because those were the two best players in the league at the time. And
Yeah,
so
no, 100%.
they still couldn't win because
Uh-uh.
the Eagles are just poverty. So
And one of the last questions that was sent to me, one of my I used to coach youth football, so shout out to my boy Coach George down in 757 coaching youth football. His question was asking what kind of impact hiring these socially popular coaches at HBCUs will have on the field. Um, if anybody don't know what HBCUs are, it's historically black colleges and universities. As people seen, Michael Vick being hired at Norfolk State, Deshaun Jackson at Delaware State, and of course, Eddie George still at Tennessee State. Um, I would say, from my personal opinion, I think it's good. I think it's good to have like a lot of former players. I think it's great for them
Hmm.
overall to start off at the HBCU level where they can have their fuck ups if they had
yeah,
fuck up at HBCU because being a head coach is not an easy job, especially at college level. It's not an easy job, you
Especially
know.
nowadays with all the NIL. That's why a lot of
Yeah,
retired, like Nick Saban, he was like, this game has changed and I don't want to be here for it anymore, which is unfortunate.
yeah. And I think it's good to see, where they could develop at. Like see what method I can coach that can work. Because you put them at like a Power 5 school or one of the lower conferences Division 1 programs, you're gonna expect them to win right away. That's why like it's too much pressure, and then you have to deal with the whole NIL thing. And now I think it's good because Michael Vick. I grew up in the 757 area, born and raised, Sportsville, Virginia. He's from the Newport News area, so it's great for the hometown where I'm from for him to come coach there because now it's like students now, a lot of athletes going to consider HBCUs and
Hmm.
know that, look, you can get on the field at any moment. And then Deshaun Jackson, to be honest, I was surprised he wanted to be a head coach. But it's going to be great because you bring more viewership now. Now you're gonna have like the ESPNs, the
Exactly.
NBCs that want to cover those games now because the popularity of the coach is gonna come there. And
Correct.
even though like Dion's not at Jackson State, when Dion
Can you
was at
help
Jackson State,
shed
it
light
kind
on
of
that?
it
Hmm.
kind of shed a little bit of light, and like it's great overall. And not to mention, it's a pretty good number of people of NFL players that's in the Hall of Fame that went to HBCUs actually. So for the people who out here think HBCU football ain't really produce an NFL product, pretty good players in the Hall of Fame that went to HBCUs. So I think y'all should start considering that.
Hmm.
Overall, I think it's like 19 or 20 NFL players.
Hey, speaking of HBCU to the NFL, didn't Tehran declare for the draft? Tehran Miller?
Yeah, my boy, our boy, Teron. So
Bro,
Giselle, we
he was at Norfolk State, right?
at Norfolk
Yeah,
State,
now
man.
if he stayed for one more year, he would have got coached by Michael Vick. That was
Oh, man, don't worry, because we're gonna get him up here one of these episodes, and we want to ask him about that. But
yeah.
Giselle, that's one of our good guys that we had on the earlier episodes of the
Oh, that's
podcast,
awesome.
where he was transferring from my grad school, Sacred Heart University, went to Norfolk State and balled out there.
Yeah, he had a great season.
He was one of the watch list for the Arenas Williams Award, which is known as the best defensive back at HBCU level. So it's just great to see what he's doing. Hopefully, one of these days, I'm gonna try to get him up here, man, because it's a great guy, man. Great guy. I know
Hey,
he's gonna do big
he
things.
declared, like I said, he declared for the draft, so you never know.
Look, man, if he comes to the Cowboys, man, he about to be my favorite guy.
You
He gonna
never.
be my favorite guy. He go to the Cowboys. Let's go,
And then
baby. Let's
shout out
go.
shout out to Kenny too. Kenny had a good year up at W.
Other
What?
guy we brought on the board, man. We're gonna get these guys on here for an episode
Yeah, we
because
gotta
these
get.
guys draft prospects. We gotta get them up here, man, because it's crazy how these guys really balled out after they be on the episode with us, and like now we seeing the success. It's like amazing.
Yeah,
So yeah,
Kenny had a. He was. I don't think he played every single game. I think he might have been injured, but he had a good year up there at W. I mean,
yeah,
like he was there.
definitely.
He was the guy. He had a lot of receptions. I was looking at his numbers. So.
Definitely, definitely. But Giselle, is there any way these people can find you and connect with you via sports?
Of course. My Instagram handle is at Sports with Strong. Same thing with my TikTok. And if you want to follow my personal page, it's just at Giselle Strong.
Y'all hear to hear people, y'all follow her, they see hear her sports takes. But in other news and otherwise, thank you for watching another episode of the Sport Aces podcast. Chris Ortega,
Tom Bucciferro.
And guess Giselle Strong.
and hope y'all have a great week ahead of you and see you next week.